All right, welcome to this video. We are going to be ranking all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., on how likely I am to move there. A little bit of background. I'm a Roman Catholic. Um, I want to raise a Roman Catholic family in a conservative um, area. Um, and my dream job is to become a master technician for either a car dealership or an automotive shop. Um, but yeah, I live right now. I live in Utah, which isn't the greatest state for a Catholic community because everyone's Mormon. Yeah, that's so. I'm just going to be ranking all the states. Let's go over the rankings. So the top ranking is I'm going to move there now. I'll move there right now if I could. I would move there. These are the states that I'd totally consider it. I would probably move there. Only if I had to. States are the states where I wouldn't choose them, but if I had to, yeah, I'd move there. The nope wouldn't even consider it states are the states where it's like nope, not even an option, not gonna move there whatsoever. Not enough H no's in the world are the states that are just so brutal that I would nothing in the world is worse than living in that state. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna start off with Texas. Texas is a good starting point. I'm gonna go and put it in would move there. Texas is pretty cool. It's very cowboy country, depending on where you live. But yeah, I think I could totally live in Texas. There's a lot of cool things there. It's also the second most populous state, so there's a ton of people there. California, no, absolutely not. Not in a million years would I ever move to California. The politics there suck. It's expensive as crap there. I mean, I guess they do have good Catholic communities. That's good about California, but I would never ever move there. No, no. Alabama, Alabama's interesting because uh, a lot of it's one of the most moved to states in 2026. The town of Huntsville is booming there. Lots of people are moving there. I personally probably wouldn't, only if I had to. Um, People are super nice there. I've heard, but I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't want to move there as a first choice. There's not a lot of Catholics there, mostly Protestants. Moving next to Colorado, only if I had to. I'm right next door to Colorado. Colorado has the Rocky. Actually, you know what? I would move there. Honestly, now that I think about it, yeah, I would move there because they have a better Catholic population than Utah does, and they also still have the mountains, which is like the best part of Utah. Um, and they also have a lot of cool nature things to do there. So I would move there. I'm not really a fan of how secular the state is, but I could probably get past that depending on where I live. Connecticut, no. Um, nope, wouldn't even consider it. It's pretty much a New England state. Everything there is secularized. It's also one of the most dangerous New England states because of Hartford and Bridgeport, which have a high crime rate. Um, and also, it's like the least interesting New England state. There's nothing to do there. Maybe the only thing that's cool is the name. Connecticut is kind of a cool name, but yeah, not moving to Connecticut. Delaware, no, probably not. It's a small state. I mean, I've heard there's great beaches there, um, but I wouldn't move there personally because there's just no reason to move to Delaware. Florida, this is an interesting one. Only if I had to, because Florida is like I've been there multiple times. The weather is it's so hot there all the time. Like even in the middle of winter, it's still like in the hundred, or it feels like 100 because of the humidity. And there's always hurricanes there. Yeah, so I could see myself living in Florida, but I wouldn't choose it personally. Georgia, only if I had to. Again, kind of like with Alabama, it's booming. Atlanta area's a ton of people moving there, but there's not a lot of Catholics there, so I wouldn't think it's the best state to pick. Hawaii, no. It's beautiful there. I see it as a great vacation spot, but as far as living there, no, definitely not happening. It's way too expensive, and there's just it's a vacation spot. That's all it is. Washington D.C. No, absolutely not. Never in a million years would I live in Washington D.C. There's just full of politicians. I am not a fan. No politician these days is reliable. There's a lot of crime there. It's like the most. If it were a state, it would be the most dangerous state. So I'm definitely never ever moving to Washington D.C. Wisconsin. Yeah, I'd move there. Oh, oh nope. There, I would move there. People there are really nice. I've got some family living there. Um, yeah, they say it's really nice there. It's brutally cold, but honestly, I think I could put up with it. Wisconsin has, if you're out of the Madison area, has some really good Catholic communities and uh, some good areas to raise a family. So I think Wisconsin, yeah, I would definitely move there, or not definitely, but I would move there. Idaho, um, I'd move there. Idaho, I've been there quite a bit because I'm just south of them. They're they're nice. They have a lot of open space, not a lot to do, but that's kind of a good thing. I would say that's kind of a good thing. Um, Boise and that area is really nice. There's a lot of people there. There's tons of people moving there. There's just not a lot of Catholic community there, and also I don't know. Yeah, it's I would move there, but it's not like an of my first pick. Iowa, yeah, I'd move there. Um, there's even though it's just a flat state with pretty much corn. I mean, there's a lot of good communities there. I've heard um, they have um, quite a bit to do in the Des Moines area. I've heard, um, and they've got some nice people there. So I would move to Iowa. Great state to raise a family. Kansas. Hmm. There was at one point where I actually was going to move to Kansas. I'll put them in would move there. The reason I hesitate to moving there now is because there's nothing, like absolutely nothing to do there. Like you have Wichita and then Kansas City, which is pretty much completely in Missouri. But which, like I said, having nothing to do can be good. There's some times where you just like go enjoy nature, but Kansas doesn't have nature. It's just flat after flat land. But they do have some good Catholic communities there. I would I would move to Kansas. Kentucky, only if I had to. Kentucky is not doing great as a state. There is I've heard there's quite a bit of crime there. Also high poverty rates. So I personally wouldn't move to Kentucky. And also, they don't have a bunch of Catholics there. Maybe if you're in like the Cincinnati area, which is in Ohio, but like the northern part of Kentucky. But I wouldn't move there, or only if I had to, I guess. Maryland, no, no. It's right next to Washington D.C. There's probably too many politicians there. Uh, Very liberal state. Wouldn't move there. Not really a good reason to move there. Baltimore, tons of crime. Very secularized. Boston. Um, I am a Patriots fan. I'm a diehard Patriots fan. So I only if I had to. I know it's like one of the most liberal and secularized states. However, my dogs play in Massachusetts, so that could be good enough reason. I mean, if I'm outside of Boston, maybe like in like the backwoods, I think I could find good places to raise a family, a conservative family. I don't know, just not a fan of the secularization. It is a very educated state, though. I can give them that. Um, but yeah, Mississippi, no, not in a million years. There's absolutely no reason to move to Mississippi. The most poverty-ridden state. Got tons of crime there. They always rank 50th or the bottom three in top 10, like all the states ranked. There's like they have the least amount of Catholics out of any state, so there's really no reason for me to move there. Missouri, you know what, we're gonna say Missouri for later because it's kind of an interesting one. Montana, I would move there. Montana's got some really pretty mountains. They've got some great nature. They've also got some great people. I've been there I think once or twice. Went camping there. It's great. It's very, very cold. Probably won't like the cold that much. Kind of the same thing with Wisconsin, but I'm not sure. Are there tons of? I don't know. I could see myself raising a family in Montana. Nebraska, yes, I would definitely move there, especially the Lincoln, Nebraska area. Most Orthodox parish in the United States. Tons of Catholic community there. Definitely one of the best places to raise a Catholic family. So I would definitely move to Nebraska for sure. Um, Nevada, oh boy, I no, I wouldn't consider it. I've been to Vegas and about 5 times. That's pretty much all of Nevada. You have Las Vegas, Reno, which Reno is just a smaller version of Vegas. Um, I mean, I know they have tons of Catholics in the Las Vegas area, but it's so secularized down there. It's called Sin City for a reason. So I probably wouldn't move to. I wouldn't move to Nevada. New Jersey. Oh crap. No, wouldn't consider it. People there kind of suck. They're all rude. They don't really care about you. Um, and it's like the most taxed state. And to live in this stupid looking state, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, I wouldn't consider moving there. No, I mean I know they have a high percentage of Catholics, but most of them don't even practice. So New Mexico, no, I wouldn't even consider it in a million years. No, too hot there. There's nothing to do there besides eat a cactus. I guess the only thing they have for them is Breaking Bad. That's where Walter White's from, Albuquerque, New Mexico. There's no reason for me to move there. I know they have a ton of Catholics, but there's just I don't know. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, I guess there's like the smallest bit of chance that I would move there, but no, probably not. New York, not in a million years. No, people there suck, especially in the New York City area. Um, it's so secularized. That's such a hard word to say. It's very um, not great to raise families, especially in the New York area, New York City area. Upstate's not much better, but yeah, no, not happening. North Carolina, oh yeah, I could definitely see myself moving there. Everything is great about it. There's great places to raise a family. There's great weather, great people. The only downside is that there's a um, heavy Protestant population to Catholic population, but that's not a huge deal because I they worship Jesus, so like why does it matter? So I'd put North Carolina. I would definitely move there. That's like one of the best southern states for sure. Actually, I take that back. It is the best southern state for sure. Let's see. I think this is North Dakota. Oh, hang on. I think it froze. No. Alright, I'll give it a second. Bum, 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 bum. Let me know in the comments what you think of my list. It's definitely very not statistically the best states because just looking at this list, you're like, what the heck? This makes no sense. But like, you kind of need to know context. But yeah, let me know what state you guys would like to move to, or what state you live in, and how much you like living there. All right, here we go. Okay, North Dakota. Mm, if if there were young people to meet there, it would be A tier for sure, or moving there now. But it is one of the worst states for singles, which at the moment I am single. It's kind of hard to date when you're not Mormon in Utah. So yeah, North Dakota, they've got great Catholic communities there. One of the best places, or I heard Bismarck is a great place to raise a family. Um, yeah, Oregon, no. If you unless you, I mean, if you're only counting the right side, the right half of it, maybe. But Portland and Salem kind of just ruined it for me. The most secularized city in the United States, and politics suck. All right, we're gonna come back to Missouri. Yeah, I would move to Missouri. Missouri is kind of an aura state. I mean, people say, "Oh, it's a misery." No, it's definitely not misery. They've got two major cities. They have Kansas City and St. Louis, and the people there are super friendly. It's definitely one of the best places to raise a family. I know they have tornadoes, but I mean, tornadoes. This is kind of a hot take, but tornadoes are kind of cool, even though they like the dangerous ones, can kill you, which kind of suck. I'm gonna be honest, but like watching them, they're kind of cool as long as they don't, damage stuff. Pretty cool. Arkansas, no, there's no reason to move to Arkansas. I guess, yeah. Um, yeah, I would. The only part of Arkansas I'd even consider moving to is the northwest part on I-49. Those cities. Other than that, no, absolutely not. It's one of the most crime-ridden states. Little Rock and Pine Bluff have like the highest violent crime rate in the nation. Um, it's poverty-ridden, bunch of drugs. There's no reason to move to Arkansas. Rhode Island, no. There's there's no reason to move there. Ranked one of the rudest states. They, I mean, I guess they do have the highest Catholic population, but that doesn't really mean anything because most of the Northeast states say they have a high Catholic population, but most of them are just don't even practice. That's just what they identify as. But yeah, Rhode Island. The only thing they have going for them is Family Guy. Quahog doesn't even exist. So yeah, I wouldn't move to Rhode Island. South Carolina. Yeah, I'd move to South Carolina. South Carolina's pretty beautiful. They got great beaches, got great golf courses. Um, kind of the same thing with North Carolina. They do have slightly or a high Protestant population, but I mean that's fine. I could deal with that. But I would if I was choosing between North or South Carolina, I'd choose North Carolina, just because North Carolina has better economy and less poverty. South Dakota, only if I had to. They they have Mount Rushmore and they have Sturgis, which I've been to. Great places. But I mean, there's not really a reason for me to move there. It's cold in the winter for sure, um, and it's the lesser Dakota. You can argue with me in the comments about that, but North Dakota is far better than South Dakota. Tennessee, yeah, I would move there. Um, I mean, right now it's booming. It's also one of the most moved to states, um, like especially in the Nashville area, in the Chattanooga area. Um, But it does have Memphis, which is a really dangerous city, and it's also got like no Catholics. I mean, the Catholics are growing there for sure, but it's only like 3%, which is really low. Um, but I could totally see myself moving to Tennessee. They've got great family values there, and they've got great people there. Utah. All right, I'm gonna rank this as if I lived not in Utah and was gonna move to Utah. No, I wouldn't consider it. Actually, no, only if I had to. Utah is my home state. It's pretty great here. I'll be honest. The mountains are great. The national parks are great. There's a lot to do, especially in the Salt Lake area and north. You got St. George in the south. That's where everyone goes for vacation. We've got this great Salt Lake. It's just there. You can't really swim in it. You can't drink it or anything, obviously, but it's there. It's kind of cool. We have the Salt Flats. You can go 160 on the Salt Flats because there's no cops out there to stop you. Um, but if you're not Mormon, this state is gonna you're gonna be feel like an outsider. So if you're a Mormon, this is probably the most greatest state. I mean, I'd put it up here if you're a Mormon, but um, since I'm not Mormon and I'm Catholic, I'm gonna have to only if I have to, because all my family's here. Um, and that's where I am right now. All right, next, Vermont. No, absolutely not. Not in a million years. It's cold there. Um, actually, yeah. It's cold there. It's the most social, or it's like the one of the most hipster states, which is like more socialism and that crap. No, I don't want to deal with that. I mean, it's the safest state for sure. I'll give them that. And also, they've got a lot of beautiful nature there. But other than that, no, I wouldn't move to Vermont. There's just no reason to. Virginia. It depends on where in Virginia. If I'm living in like South Virginia, where I'm far away from the government, aka Washington D.C., I would like it. I've heard there's a lot of good communities down there. But if I'm living in Northern Virginia, no, it's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna even out and put only if I have to. Um, West Virginia, no. If someone can give me one good reason to move to West Virginia, maybe I would. But they've like one of the lowest population of Catholics. They have like the highest poverty. They have no jobs. I mean, if you have remote work, I guess you could live there. It's really really dirt cheap there, but for a reason, because there's not really a reason to live there. Um, I guess they've good they're in the Appalachian Mountains, so they have some cool hiking spots. But other than that, no, I wouldn't live there in a million years. Wyoming, oh, I'm right next to Wyoming. If you don't, if you can't handle boredom, stay the crap away from Wyoming because there's you could drive from one corner of the state to the next, not see a single thing. I remember when I went on a road trip to South Dakota to see Mount Rushmore. Drove right through Wyoming, and there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. But when on the way back, we took a detour. I went to Cheyenne. I went to Casper and Cody. Some really nice towns. Um, and I also remember watching a video about Cokeville, which is a really, 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 really small town on kind of on the Utah and Wyoming border. Um, Movie about that, and it's really nice. We have a bunch of really nice small towns. So I'll, I guess I would move there. Yeah, if I'm not in a because there's a lot of Mormon pockets there. But if I was in like a more Catholic pocket, I would move there for sure. Alaska, no, wouldn't consider it. It's way too cold there, too remote. People only go there because they don't want to see other people. Which, if I was to raise a family, I don't want it to just be our family. I want to have a community. So I would not move to Alaska in a million years. Arizona, maybe if I was 80 years old, that's where they retire down there. I've been to Arizona a few times because I know I'm north of them. They, I don't know. Arizona's not the greatest state because it's so hot. Like it'll be the middle of winter and it'll still be 110 outside, or at least it'll feel that way. Um, yeah, I guess it just if you live only if I had to, just because of how hot it is all the time. I can't deal with constant heat. I would want to die. Um, Illinois, never in a million years. No, absolutely not. Most um, politically corrupt states. They have Chicago. If they just got rid of the top half or the top fourth of Illinois, it'd be a great state. Just take the bottom three fourths and add it to Indiana. It'd be a great state. Um, but the politics there suck. Um, I guess when I went to Chicago, there's cool stuff to do there, but it's like the most crime ridden. There's a ton of crime there. Um, that's really all it has going for it, and it also has the most. Even though I said that tornadoes are cool, it does have the most tornadoes, which can suck because then you're worrying more if it's going to hit you. So, yeah, definitely never going to move to Illinois for sure. Indiana, oh yeah, I would move there. Indiana's cool. Indiana's got Fort Wayne, which is like ranked one of the best cities to raise a family. Very religious state for sure. Um, got some good stuff. I mean, as long as you stay out of like the drug parts of it, like if you stay out of South Bend or if you stay out of Indianapolis, it's a great state. They've got some good Catholic communities there. Yeah, I would totally move to Indiana. Louisiana, oh, um, if it wasn't for Fayette, wait, what's that one city called? Fayetteville in the South. If it wasn't for that, I'd put it down here. But I could totally see myself moving to Fay. I don't think it's Fayetteville. What's the city called? It's something like that. Um, People from Louisiana can correct me, but it's that one super Catholic town in India in Louisiana. I would. That is the only part of Louisiana I've moved to. Um, if it wasn't for that, I'd be on the very bottom because of all the hurricanes, all the crime, the poverty. Yeah, but Fayetteville kind of carries the state. Pennsylvania, I would definitely move to Pennsylvania. That's probably the state I'm actually going to end up moving to, just because it's very Catholic there. It's got some great nature. It's in the like the western parts in the Appalachian mountains. You've got Pittsburgh, which I know is not the greatest city, but they have great nature, great history, the most historically rich state for sure. Um, and they've got like it's very diverse. Like if you wanted to if you split it in half, like Western PA is way different than Eastern PA because you got like Philly over here, and you got Scranton and Allentown, Lancaster, and then on the west you have Pittsburgh and Erie, like completely polar opposites, pretty much. But yeah, Pennsylvania is a great state. Definitely live there. Maine, Maine, on the other hand, it's all right. I wouldn't move there though. Way too cold. It's pretty much Canada. If you're up that high, you're pretty much in Canada. Um, I mean, there's not there's not really anything besides eating lobsters to do there. Um, yeah, I wouldn't move to Maine. Michigan, ooh, Michigan's. It really depends on where in Michigan. Because if I'm in the Flint and Detroit area, I would put that down here for sure. But if I'm moving like to maybe like a northern part, I would still only if I had to, just because of how cold it is there. Um, and it's not there's not a ton of Catholics there. There is like some, but not quite, not a lot, not as nearly as much as its neighbor Wisconsin. Um, but yeah, Michigan only if I had to, Loki. Minnesota, Minnesota's interesting because if if you got rid of the twins or the Twin Cities, it would probably be up here. It'd be up here. But the Twin Cities and all of its secularization would kind of drag it down to like down here. Um, but it's the nicest people in the nation. That's 100% for sure. Very cold. Um, I would honestly, I would rather live. Let's see, I'd rather live in Minnesota than Arizona. So I guess I'd put it that much higher. But because I would rather deal with extreme cold than extreme heat all the time. Um, but yeah, I guess there's a lot of nature there too. Go ice fishing, go hiking. There's a lot of fun stuff there. But personally, there's a lot of other states I do over it or move to over it. New Hampshire, only if I had to. It's like it's like the way better version of Vermont. Because you've got like more Catholics there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And also, there's not nearly as many socialists there. And um, people there are super nice. Both states have super nice people, but New Hampshire also has a cooler name, in my opinion. Like, imagine saying, I'm from New Hampshire. That's kind of cool. Not gonna lie. Um, I guess I don't really know too much about New Hampshire, but I would put it there. I guess I would if I had to. Oklahoma, only if I had to, because there's not like it's like most of the South. It's very Protestant. Not very many Catholics live there, but there's a lot of good places to raise a family there for sure. Got a ton of tornadoes there, so that's something you got to look out for as well. Washington, never in a million years. No, be only because of Seattle. There's too many liberals there, and it's I guess if I was living in like the bottom right area, I could see myself living there. But no, it's too liberal and it's too expensive to live there. Okay, we're saving the best for last. It looks like Ohio. Down in Ohio, swag like Ohio. Just Brink. Yep, I'm putting it up. I'm definitely gonna move there. It's either between Ohio and Pennsylvania right now. Which one I'm definitely gonna move to? Actually, add in Missouri too, because I know in Missouri they have they have the Ford Asset Program in St. Louis, which would be great. Which is where I'm planning on either going there or the one in Pittsburgh. And in Ohio, they have Steubenville, which is like the most Catholic city culturally in the United States. Also, the Cincinnati area, tons of Catholics over there. And in Ohio is like it's just the most aura-ridden state for sure. Um, but yeah, yeah, that's my list. It probably, without context, someone's gonna think I'm absolutely crazy for creating this list. But this is kind of based on where I live. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of my list down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.